Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Happy New Year, Potter Than Hellions, and welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is our first episode of 2024. It's going to be an awesome year, and I am here with
BC
and
BB,
and our keyboard player is still
Dylan.
All right, BC's rocking his Rockin' Pod shirt on. Which one is that? Rockin'
2018.
Pod 18. So I'm not sure which one that was.
2018.
Yeah, but like the number wise. It might have been the second one. I don't know. Because each year had a different color.
Second. I think it's second.
Second year. Because like red was the first one, I think. And then blue. And then green, I think, was the third. Anyway, cool shirt. BB's got red socks on. Dylan, what's your shirt?
It's Nosferatu.
Oh, Nosferatu. Cool. And I just have a plain black t-shirt on. I just got home from work. And we have a massive clusterfuck going on in our town. We have no water. Massive water main breaks. I got out of work by the skin of my teeth tonight. So here we are. And welcome back. Hope everybody had an awesome Christmas and an awesome New Year's safe celebration. And here we are. We're going to do our wrap-up from last year, 2023. And last week, we had Potter Than Hell Jeopardy. What'd you think, Dylan?
Like I said, it was tougher to come up with some categories and clues, but the stuff that I did come up with, I was very happy with. And I think everybody did very well. There wasn't really any negatives going into the final Jeopardy, so that's a surprise for sure. But it's always fun to see everybody try and answer the questions and just not have a clue what I'm talking about. So, story of my life.
I was gonna say we don't know what he's talking about half the time, anyways. Oh, how about you, BB?
Yeah, that was a great episode. I love when Dylan puts them together, and we always have a good time laughing and battling, and making sure we forget to say what is or who is, and we're pointing at you. But it's definitely one of the highlights of the year is when Dylan puts on a Jeopardy episode. Definitely a really good time.
How are you, BC? How are you, buddy?
Another great episode with the Jeopardy, which is always a blast. And if I got to keep remembering what is, because that killed me at the very
What is, who is?
Yeah. I had it. Nope. I'm like, nope.
That's how it goes.
That's how I lost the first one.
Kills me every time, but always a blast.
See, but now you remember. Once you fuck up like that, you remember it. Because I remember it now after I fucked up that first time. And today we're recording, and it's the 19th of December of last year. You guys are listening to this. And you know what's weird? I just worked an extra day shift today, and I wrote out 4 reports with the wrong fucking date on them. I put the 18th on the reports. So...
Well, there's some fraud.
I'll have to change that when I go back into work tomorrow. But my partner didn't notice, so. But shocking that didn't happen.
The
but
building
it's nothing a little whiteout can. But they're correct in the computer, and that's really the one that counts. So I just looked at that. I'm like, fuck, I had the wrong date all day long. And I loved the Jeopardy episodes. Dylan did a great job of it, of hosting and doing that again. And I am very, very close. I think I said it on the episode last week to having mine finished for the next one. So, and Dylan, we got to figure out a way for it to be easier for me to do that. I don't mind the questions and all that shit, but just the keeping track of.
There's got to be like a program online that you could just make your own Jeopardy without too much hassle, because
there has to be.
I go about it in a very convoluted way, but
that's your mission.
I'm proud of how it got set up.
Yeah. Because she's the one we had the board up on the thing, and we put sticky notes on cover the ones we fucking.
It's too bad we didn't have a smart board, because we could have just clicked into the thing. That would have been really cool, but. That'll be for New Year. Santa will bring the smart board for the one Jeopardy episode every 6 months.
Every 6 months, yeah. So I'm very close to having that other one done. But always fun though. Cool doing it. I retained the... What's that called?
It's the Moon Man. The
Moon
MTV
Man,
Moon
The
Man.
MTV Moon Man. I retained the
VMA.
Moon Man.
Yeah.
I hold on to that like grim death. And
Doesn't even know the name of it, but he holds on to it.
well, I know what it is. I know it when I see it. And so from last year, some of the news that was in towards the end of the year, Motley Crue said that they're going to have a new album out this year. In BC, Tommy Lee said it's insane. It's insane, he said. So I can't. If Tommy Lee says it's insane, it's going to be.
He's the
I think
craziest
he's
of
going to.
all.
I think he's going to do Brandon 2 on this one.
Steal your mom! Steal your mom!
And Sebastian Bach is going to tour the Skid Row debut album when he does his shows, and Stephen Pearcy's going to perform the Out of the Cellar all the way. So we will probably see the full Out of the Cellar on Monsters of Rock Cruise coming up.
No, definitely.
So he'll definitely play that for at least one of the shows. If he does that for both shows, I'm going to be fucking pissed. So like do Invasion of Your Privacy like for the second show or something like that. Yeah. But that might be pushing him. That might be pushing a little bit. You know what I mean? And what else? And BB.
Yep.
I believe as we speak, they are recording a new Mr. Big album.
Who's drumming for them?
That may be brought up towards the end of the show here in the show notes. But
Okay. All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah, super excited about that. And I'll bring up something else later in the show that another band is also doing a new album.
All right.
But yeah, super excited.
Awesome.
Super
Yeah, I
excited.
can't because I saw a couple things that Billy Sheehan posted, like recording stuff and all that. So
Right.
it's gonna be cool because then we'll have another album that we can add to our our
2x2.
2x2s. What do you think about those, BC?
Yeah, Motley Crue. Bah.
You know you're gonna get it when it comes
Oh,
out.
you know that, but I don't have to like it. Mr. Big, cool. I think Dylan's asking who's playing drums. Is it Matt Starr? Who's playing drums?
No. I think it's a different guy now.
Another guy?
I think so. Yeah. Was it Steve Ron playing?
They'll just have Billy Sheehan play drums on his bass.
How are you, Dylan?
I mean, it can't be any worse than their cover of Like a Virgin. I say it every time. I say it every single time.
Never say it can't get worse. Never say
You've
that.
heard that cover.
I've heard that.
No, but I agree with him because every time you
I've
say
heard
it,
that.
never get worse.
I will
Something
take
happens to get
Motley
worse.
Crue's version of Like a Virgin over the whole Generation Swine album.
Drugs.
Over the whole Generation Swine album. With maybe the exception of Afraid.
Well, there's some good parts in Shout 97.
But as a whole song. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. Mr. Big definitely looking forward to that. And I'm going to be interested to see how the crew's going to sound with John 5. And I'm also going to be interested to see once they start getting like details about the album of how much he was actually involved in the songwriting. And we'll see how it goes from there, because really, what was the last full Crew album? Saints of Los Angeles, I think.
Yep.
I thought that was fucking fantastic. I think it's a great album. So,
Well, he's
How
the
many years
only
ago
one
was
that knows how to actually play their instrument
that
besides
was
Tommy
like
Lee. So
what year was that, Dylan?
what?
Saints of Last.
Saints of Los
That's
Angeles.
2008, I believe.
2008. So,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
gee, that's
It's a big one.
12, no, 10, 14 years, 14, 15 years.
Yeah, 2008, June 24th.
2008. So yeah, so that's.
How about me?
Man,
It's been a
that's
while.
pretty
They've
good.
had a couple songs out
Golden
between
Star
now and
for
then,
you.
but nothing crazy. They had Like a Virgin out, Dylan's favorite cover song.
They had the dirt.
They did the Dirt. They did that song "Sex." That was actually pretty good when they put that
yeah.
out. But it'll be interesting to see how it comes out.
See, Saints Los Angeles was, I thought, a good capper because you had the song Going Out Swinging. But then they're just like everybody else. They
were-
don't know when to stop.
They were in breach of their contract. I think
They ripped it up.
All the fans should sue them.
Yeah.
Because then they say they're going to pay each fan like $10,000 or something like that.
Maybe they'll
So
give
I'm still
out,
waiting for my check.
Maybe they'll give out golden tickets to.
There you go. There's a whole other can of fucking whatever. Yeah, so I just thought I'd throw those couple things out there real quick. And before we get going, what are we listening to? BB, how about you? What do you got going?
It's funny, I kind of got on Apple Music the other day and just kind of went through some new releases, and it's really not like one album. It's a couple of actual singles. The band, I think I brought these guys up to the table one time when we did maybe like a draft or a song battle. Headbangers Ball. They did an EP of 2 Kiss songs. They're calling it Kissmas EP. They did Lick It Up and Beth, and that was released the 15th of December, just the other day. Checking that out. The band Powerwolf, righty.
There you go.
They just did a cover single of Bark at the Moon. That was released on the 3rd of December. And then also our favorite band here, Devil Train, released a song on December 1st, Superstition. So everybody's doing covers. All these bands are releasing cover songs for December. But yeah, really nothing worth mentioning. But those 3 singles, or EP and 2 singles, were pretty cool.
All right, Dylan, what do you got going?
So besides the insane amount of 2023 music I was listening to, I decided to finally give the band The Who a check. It's
Who?
the HU
The
instead
Who.
of The Who. And they're like a Mongolian folk metal band. And they had some songs in the 2 newest Star Wars games, so that's kind of where I had heard them before, and I kind of liked what they did. It's very different. This might be my pirate metal, Dad. The Mongolian folk metal.
Mongolian folk metal.
It's very
like,
unique and very cool.
Attila the Hun metal.
And you have William Duvall featuring on one of the songs, Serge Tankian, Bad Wolves. What did you think of them live?
Different,
right?
I never
I
heard
remember
of
you saying that. Who?
They played like a lot of Mongolian
It might have been
instruments as
when
well.
we went to see Megadeth.
Maybe.
But it's
It was
different.
very
Like a lot of kind of throat singing
like
stuff.
chanting
and
shit, like chanting and stuff.
They implement a lot of Mongolian folk music into it, but through a metal lens. It's very cool.
It's kind of neat.
It's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's
Like if I knew about this album last year, it probably would have made my end of the year list. Which is why I was listening to it, and the deluxe edition came out this year. I'm like, oh, good. And that's 2022 was the original release.
Oh, really?
Damn it.
But that's because we've talked about that before. There's always something that you find out
after the
the year before. You know, some albums and stuff like that, and ones that would probably have actually made your list from the year before. How about you, BC?
I picked up the new Jesse James Dupree album, Breathing Fire. Been rocking that out for the last few days. I always go throw on the low-end acts, the 3 Disdain of Eternity. And I've been listening to a mix of Sleazebees lately.
Sleazebees.
Going back in time there.
He's a terrible Superman villain.
Was that actually a villain?
I think Sleaze was, not Sleazebees.
Oh, Sleazebees. Maybe that's like their clan.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
From Apocalypse.
And for me, I was spinning some vinyl the other night. I did a little Canadian night there. I put on some Honeymoon Suite and some Aldo Nova. I'm trying to think what the fuck else I played.
Killer Dwarfs?
Nope, Coney Hatch. I did a little Coney Hatch.
Oh yeah.
I did a debut album night the other night. I did Wasp. I did Orange Saints. I had Autograph ready to roll, but I didn't have enough time. First Ted Nugent. So I had a couple cool things going there. And so that's what we got. Some Canadian stuff for me and debut albums on vinyl. Little Jesse James Dupree, Breathe the Fire for BC and Lillian Axe Eternity, and a little Sleazebees. BB has the Headbangers Ball, the Kissmas EP with Lick It Up and Bat on there. And a little Powerwolf. I love Powerwolf. Doing Bark at the Moon, and Devil's Train doing Superstition, and The Who, HU, for Dylan. Mongolian folk metal. You have to find an emoji for that. Is there a is there a monk? Is there a monk emoji? Because BB's been snaking me all week. And we may hear about that again this evening, by the way. I'm just going to say that there.
Oh, and the most disappointing album's good.
Shut up, Dylan. See, but you can't. I'm telling you now, you can't have that on your list as disappointing.
No,
albums.
because
because you didn't have any expectations of it being good.
You're absolutely right.
See,
You're
so
absolutely
you can't.
right.
So shut the fuck up. Yeah. So I wanted to bring up last year, because we did last year's our top 10, and we have our lists for what we had last year. So we'll go around the table. Everybody read their top 10 from last year, and let me know if you're still listening to any of these albums. So how about you, Dylan?
Yes, so my list from last year, funnily enough, I am still listening to basically all of my top 5, which goes to show that I still think very highly of them. But my top 10 was number 10, Moontooth with Phototroph. Number 9, The Warning with Error. Number 8, Coheed and Cambria with Vaxis 2. Number 7, Skid Row with The Gang's All Here. Number 6, Dorothy with Gift from the Holy Ghost. Might be hearing about Dorothy later on in this episode. Number 5, Municipal Waste with Electrified Brain. Fantastic thrash metal album. Number 4, Spirit World with Death Western. Love that album. Number 3, Dream Widow, which was Foo Fighters doing some metal. Crowbot with Feel This. Number 2, that was my birthday album for this year. And number 1, Ghost with Impera, because that album still kicks ass, and I still listen to it quite a bit.
BC, how about you? And if you are still checking out anyone else's albums, like before, I mean, we'll come back to you for mine and BB's, but like if you're still listening to any of Dylan's, just throw that out there too. So what'd you have for last year?
Oh, last year number 10 was Leather Wolf with Killed to Hunt It. Number 9, Striper, The Final Battle. 8, Black Swan with Generation Mind. 7, James Debris, Beautiful Shade of Grey. Lillian X, number 6 with Womb to Tomb. Number 5, Saxon, Carpe Diem. Number 4, Municipal Waste, Electrified Brain. Number 3, Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, The Dead.
Forgot that came out.
Number 2, Queensryche, Digital Noise Alliance. And number 1 is Skid Row, The Gang's All Here. So I'm pretty much still listening to the Lillian Axe, the Municipal Waste, and Queensryche. And off Dylan's, I'm still throwing it on every now and then, Crowbot.
All right, and I'll go next here. I had number 10. I had Miles Kennedy featuring featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators /4. Wicked, Last American Rock Band. Saxon, Carpe Diem. Hailstorm. Yes. Seventh Rum of a Seventh Rum. There's my pirate. There we go. I was disappointed that they didn't put an album out this year. By the way,
I could have fought pirate metal with Mongolian folk metal.
There you go. And Dead Daisies, Radiance, their final album with Glenn Hughes, because John Corabi's back in the band. And Tokyo Blade Fury, Kiss and Dynamite, Not the End of the Road. Thunder Mother, Black and Gold. Ozzy Osbourne, Patient Number 9. And Queensryche Digital Noise Alliance. So from Dylan's, I'll still throw on Municipal Waste. Listen to that once in a while. Skid Row and Ghost and Para I really like, and I did like when I did listen to Crowbot too when we did that for your birthday, which was cool. For BC's, still listening to the Striper once in a while. Saxon, like I said, Municipal Waste, same as Dylan's. Digital Noise Alliance, and Skid Row I'll still throw there. And I actually did listen to the Megadeth album a couple times. I finally got to listen to it a couple times. I like it. It wasn't going to make the list, but I still liked it. And as far as the ones that I picked from last year, I'm still listening to the Hailstorm one, the Kiss and Dynamite one. That's been a regular. I listen to that probably once or twice, like every other month. Thunder Mother, Black and Gold, I still listen to that one a lot. Ozzy and Queensryche, I still listen to a lot, because we did a 1 year later episode about the Queensryche one on I Remember Now podcast with myself and Ray, and we had one of our listeners, Logan, on there to talk with us about that one too. So how about you, BB?
Yeah, last year, number 10, I had Michael Romero with The War of the Worlds Part 2. Number 9 was Seminole with Edge of Forever. Number 8, I had Sinner with Brotherhood. Number 7, I had Ozzy Osbourne, Patient Number 9. 6, I had Saxon with Carpe Diem. 5, I had Megadeth, The Sick, The Dead, and The Dying. 4, I had Striper, The Final Battle. 3, Queensryche with Digital Noise Alliance. 2 was Talus with 1985. And my number 1 was Skid Row, The Gang's All Here. So for me, I'm still listening to the Skid Row. I'm still listening to Talus. And Patient Number 9 from Ozzy, I'm still listening to. And off of Steve's, I'm, like I said, Patient Number 9 with Ozzy. Black and Gold from Thunder Mother. Really love that one. That was a surprise from last year. From Dylan's, I'm still listening to Ghost and Crowbot. And then, of course, Skid Row. In the BC, it's Skid Row, Megadeth, and Black Swan. Still in the rotation.
All right. Dylan, any of the ones of anyone else's you were kind of listening to?
I think of any of them, probably a couple songs from Ozzy, but otherwise none of them kind of made the rotation with everybody else's picks.
All right. How about you, BC?
He had said from mine.
Oh, well, I mean, like of mine and BB's, if you still.
The Skid Row. Yours is. I mentioned yours already when I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to skip anybody going over again. All right, so let's get into our albums from last year, from 2023, and it's. I got my list. I got my other list.
Forgot this was coming out 2024. I'm like, we just talked about the albums from last year.
What are you doing?
Oh my God, he's broke.
Yeah, that was from 2022's albums. Those
repeat.
ones we just talked about.
Read it.
So, and we had talked about a bunch of times on the show that pretty much throughout the year, even when we did our halfway albums and then we did our songs, I think we did the halfway songs like maybe like October or late September, maybe I think we did them, and we I think we kind of touched on that. It didn't seem like 2023 was like a great year for new stuff, but I gotta tell you, I have my list in front of me. I had it narrowed down to 51 albums, and when I went through them, I'm like, holy fuck, what were we talking about? But because what I do is when they come out on Apple Music, I write them down in my notebook and I make sure I have them, and then I'll do a one and done, or I'll highlight them or whatever, see if it's something I want to listen to again. So there was a shitload of albums. So apparently 2023 wasn't as bad of a music year as I thought it was. But however, there was still no like firepower album, nothing that we all were like holy fuck blown away about.
Stop the press.
Yeah. So. But I'm interested. Like now, we have no idea what anyone else picked. I could kind of maybe guess a couple that everyone has, and they could probably guess ones that I have as well. But I'm going to be interested to see what you guys here have. And so when it's your turn, just give us your process, how you narrow it down, and whatever. So we're going to do right now. We're going to do our albums from number 10 to number 6. So who wants to go first? Go ahead, Dylan.
This was a very interesting year for me because I feel like a good majority of my listening time was spent on a lot of out-of-format songs because this was kind of the year of Taylor Swift, so a lot of time was spent listening to Taylor Swift, sometimes by choice, sometimes not. But like two of my favorite albums from the year are out-of-format albums, but I did not put them on the list, don't worry. Olivia Rodrigo's newest album and Boy Genius's album. Like both of those were kind of really in my rotation. So it was tougher coming up with albums in the hard rock metal genre because there wasn't a lot of them that through the year, like at first listen, I was like, that's going on the list for sure. There was maybe 3 of them that I listened to it the first time and I'm like, this is definitely an end of the year lister for me. The rest of them, it was like, this might make it. I need a couple more listens. So it really came down to the wire for me this week, coming up with what ones were going to make my list or not. Some of them, like, they have caveats to them because I like most of them, but, like, none of them are, not none of them, but most of them aren't going to be, I don't think, all-timers for me. I think maybe my top 3, 4 might be ones that I continue along with going forward, but, it's anybody's guess. And as for order, for the most part, they're kind of interchangeable besides my top 3 and maybe my bottom 2. The middle ones you could kind of switch around on any given day. So let's start with my number 10. I went with this album, definitely the album that I've thought about the most this year since it came out. And it's an album that made me think. And I hated it and I liked it. And I hated it, then I loved it. Then I hated it. And now it's top 10 because I haven't thought about an album as much as I thought about Avenged Sevenfold's Life is But a Dream. This was not the album that I thought that they were going to come out with. This is a weird album. This is like, there's a lot of prog elements to it. It is not the straightforward Metallica-inspired metal that you normally get with Avenged Sevenfold. It is all over the place. You have a song called Mattel that's basically about being like a plastic doll, which appropriate seeing that Barbie came out this year. But it's just like an all over the place album. It's like the it's like their theater kid minds kind of exploded with this album. The guitar work on it is fantastic, though. And I just had to put it on the list because it's so out there and so unique. And I can't stop thinking about this album. And on any given day, I might hate it, I might love it. So just for that, keeping in my head, that has to go at number 10. My number 9 pick was an album that I picked one of the songs for in our top songs of the year. The Hives with the Death of Randy Fitzsimmons. August 11th that came out, and I picked a Bogus Operandi that was on that episode. But this is just a great garage rock album, just very, balls to the wall heaviness, not heaviness, but like rocking, that just a lot of fun. It's a fun kind of put your headphones on album and just to play. Nothing special, but a really great return for this band that I really enjoyed growing up. My number 8 album. This album I thought was going to be higher up on the list, but upon re-listening to it, I think there's a couple of songs that don't quite land for me as well as some of the other ones. But Mammoth WVH's Mammoth 2. I still think that this is the better of the two albums. I really, really enjoy it. But there are some slower songs that don't quite hit with me. But let me tell you, Wolfie, he's got it. And I'm super happy that he's got this project going because he's so talented. He's fantastic on all the instruments. He's a great singer, and the songwriting is just very, very good. Some songs weren't to my ear, but the rest of it is just really, really fantastic. My number 7 pick comes from Måneskin with Rush. Came out January 20th. This was a very early album. Again, this is another really fun album that is just kind of like a head bopper and toe tapper. Some cool feature from Tom Morello on the song Gossip. There's just really, really catchy songs. Mamma Mia, not the ABBA song, though that would be cool if they did a cover of that. But just a really great band from Italy that won Eurovision, and this album is fantastic. And they got a Grammy nomination for Best New Artist, even though they've been out since like 2018. So I don't know, but it's a little long in the tooth. It's got like maybe 20 songs on it. But it's like 55 minutes, but there's nothing that some of the slower songs I wasn't as big a fan of, but, if it wasn't as long as it was, I think it would have been a little higher on the list because all those songs I'm just like kind of dancing in my chair too as I'm listening to them. And then number 6, to end off this first part of my list, I had to give it to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, and Annihilation of Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
Only 6?
Only made number 6, and this was the second of 3 albums that they came out with this year, but it was my number 1 from the albums that came out this year. This band just does not know how to rest, and every time they do a new album, they do a different genre. The album after this was like a synth album, and this album is a really great metal album. I used Motor Spirit as one of the songs on my top 2023 songs, and there's just amazing songs. Like Supercell, Dragon, just really heavy songs that like you almost get into a trance listening to it sometimes. There's like some cool throat singing that's going on. It's just a really awesome album, and you almost wish that they would do all their albums in this style, but I love that they're unpredictable. So that's my my bottom 10, my 10 to 6 songs for my top 10 of the year.
Now, for that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, whatever. That's the one with the dinosaur and like the Velociraptor on the front. Now, is the other stuff on the album in the same vein of the one that you had on that episode? I would check. I liked that. I thought it was cool.
And they have a live album out too this year.
They do.
Right?
It's like 30 songs. It's like 3 hours. And I think
it can't be from one show, is it?
I think it's taken from a couple shows, but I think it's available free on Bandcamp. So it's not on like Spotify or Apple Music, but it's on Bandcamp.
I would check that because I liked that song that he had on the songs episode. So all right, so BB, you're gonna go next. If you have any commentary on the guy before you, just throw them out there. Then we'll go back around for those that didn't go. So if you got anything on,
that's what I like about Dylan. He brings the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and all these different bands that probably 80% of it may not make our list, but he has that different sound, and what I like with what he brings to the table. And one of yours is on my list. I think we're a couple away, but yeah, I'll have to check out that King Gizzard, because I've seen it all over the place.
Yeah.
Especially when I was looking for live albums, because I only had a couple. I'm like, boy, I was looking every time. It seemed like something out there on the internet world was telling me to listen to this album. But
I kept dragging you back.
Yeah, I know, right? So the way I kind of did my list, I probably had about 18 to 20 albums, and I kind of want to give a good mix of bands that I've listened to back in the day, and then also bring some newer stuff to the table that I like to do every once in a while, that may be like a shocker that nobody's ever heard of, and you'll be like, wow, these guys are really good. So it's kind of like I tried to do like a 5 and 5 almost, and then kind of mix that up in a way. But my number 10 is, she's like a 29-year-old guitar phenom, Sophie Lloyd. The album is called Imposter Syndrome, and it was released November 9th. And what she does is she brings other bands, and I think her album is maybe like 12 or 13 songs long. She brings in different bands, and she plays guitar, and she lets the other band sing. Some standouts in this, she does Do or Die with Nathan James from Inglorious, with a band that I absolutely love. It's just great to hear his voice with her guitar playing, because it's a little bit heavier than what Inglorious would do with their music. So that was really, really good. Another one that was a standout for me on her album, Runaway. She does a song with Michael Starr from Steel Panther, which is great because, it's not really the raunchy Michael Starr that you're used to. I think they pair together great. And also she does a song, Judge and Jury, with Theory of a Dead Man. Great song. That's closer to the end of the album. That may even be the closer.
I think it's the last song.
Yeah, it's a great album. A lot of different bands coming together, and her shredding on it is absolutely amazing. Pretty much why I wanted to showcase her, because I'm not 100% sure where she came from, but she would do like little songs here and there a couple years ago, like release singles as just instrumentals, and this year she came out with this full album. So my number 9 album, I wanted to kind of go back in time and kind of showcase bands we used to listen to back in the day that are still making fucking kick-ass music. And my number 9 is Dokken's album Heaven Comes Down. It was released October 27th. This is a fantastic album, and Don does his vocals like he is not trying to showcase what he used to be able to do back in the 80s and 90s. He is just Don Dokken singing normal, what his vocals can produce, nothing too crazy. The backing band on this album is fucking fantastic. The guitar player can definitely go note for note with George Lynch for sure. A couple showcase songs for me on this album is It Me or You? This is more like an old Don Dokken song, maybe like for Back for the Attack. It had that feel to it. Great song. Another one, Just Like a Rose. It's a little bit on the slower side, but Don's vocals are perfect for this song. And this kid shredding on the guitar, the solo is fucking fantastic. And then another one is Lost in You. Another great riff. The drums in that one are really, really good. Just a great Dokken album. It's not like an 80s Dokken, but it has sprinkles of old Dokken. Great stuff on that. I really, really enjoyed that. I think probably if it came out maybe a little bit earlier in the year, it may have jumped a couple spots. Saw album number 8. BC, you're just listening to it. Jesse James Dupree with Breathing Fire. This was released November 10th. And if anybody out there is a Jackal fan, please check this album out. It is really, really good. a lot. There, I think it's like 3 songs that he does with Brian Johnson from AC/DC. Great stuff. Rocking, southern, hard rock. Only the way Jesse James Dupree knows how to do it. A couple of standouts for me is Never Gets Old. Like I said, heavy southern rock feel. Jesse's vocals are great. Another one, Breathing Fire, the album title. Definitely has a little Jackal sprinkle in it there that you would feel like it was an old Jackal song. And then another one was Stranded. It's a little bit slower, like almost like Don's slower song, but this one's a little bit slower. But it kicks up to like a heavy southern rock feel again. Absolutely love this album. And like I said, this could have been another one that has been on my rotation for the last couple weeks, and I'm really enjoy it because it's one of those, you're in the mood for a new Jackal album. This is definitely going to fill that void for sure. Album number 7, we already talked about it, Dylan. Mammoth WVH with 2, out August 4th. This kid just blows my mind in every aspect of this album he does, to writing, to producing, to playing every instrument. Kudos to him. This album is really good. The writing, it's just great. It's great what this kid's doing, and hopefully this kid can continue his success. A couple of the standouts on this one, Take a Bow. The solo in it, you can definitely tell where his roots are, because you can definitely hear a little bit of his dad in that solo. Definitely the best solo on the album. I'm All Right. I think they released this as a single, and I think they did a video, which is a funny video. It's almost like they do like a battle of bands, and he kind of ties up the other band, and they're like
continues up from the other
one
yeah.
from last album.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really like he ties up the other band, and so instead of like Mammoth WVH, there's like Mammoth WWH or something, and he plays on stage, and he'll play the guitar, the sing, the bass, the drums. Really cool video. Then the closer, Better Than You. Great song, great album. Really like that from the day it came out. And album number 6 is Metallica with 72 Seasons. Came out April 14th. Once again, old band releasing music. I absolutely love it. And everybody says rock is dead. When Metallica is releasing a new album, rock is definitely not dead. Great album. No skippers on this whatsoever. A couple of my favorites, Shadows Follow. Great drum beat throughout. Some cool chanting chorus. I would love to see them do that song live. Screaming Suicide. It's a killer riff, big drums. Nice big loud crash cymbals for BC in that one. And the solo in Room of Mirrors is just absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, great album. There's my bottom 5, Roddy.
All right, I'll go next, but commenting on yours and Dylan's. Yeah, Dylan's, I really, the Avenged Sevenfold one, I listened to it and I'm like, this sucks. And then I listened to it again, I'm like, I don't know if I love this or hate it.
That's what I'm saying.
But I didn't get to listen to it like a whole lot more, but it was growing on me. The Mammoth WVH, which is on BB's as well, is really good. I do like it a little better than the first one. I think there's more soloing on it. I thought it was a little better. The Hives, that one I have no idea. Main Skin, no idea. But King Gizzard, the Wizard, Lizard, Gizzard, whatever. I'm gonna have to check that out a little more because I'm my interest is peaked on that. For BB, Metallica 72 Seasons, we went to see the premiere of it in the theater. Very cool. It's not in my top 10, but it's definitely one that I listened to quite a bit this year. Very good. I like it. The Jesse James Dupree, that was a good listen too. I just didn't get to spend enough time with that for it to really soak in, and I may or may not talk about the Dokken one later, and I'm going to talk about the Sophie Lloyd one a little later as well. So, but fun, good lists. BB, I know all of yours. I know
one of yours,
3 of Dylan's, 2 of Dylan's, I think. But I love this. I love this time of year. I love talking about the albums from the year before. So I'm gonna go with my number 10 to number 6, and mine kind of I have scribbles, so I kind of went back and forth on a couple towards the end here. And so at number 10, I have the band called Tail Gunner. The album is called Guns for Hire. Came out like May 15th, and this one was one that got played on my front porch a lot during the summer. Opens up with Shadows of War is great. Guns for Hire, the title track, is great. Futures Lost, New Horizons, Warhead. Just a great, straightforward, hard rock, bordering metal album. I thought it was really cool. It was one of them that came up on, when you browse the releases for Apple Music during the week. So I'm like, let me just check this out and see what's what here. And I really enjoyed it. So it's one that I listened to a lot this summer. It was hit the porch at the 62 quite often over the summertime. And at number 9, I picked the band Icon of Sin, and the album is called Legends. This you listen to this guy. He's in an Iron Maiden tribute band. This is Iron Maiden with short songs. You have the time changes in them. The guy sounds just like fucking Bruce. I forget it's like a Venezuelan or Brazilian Maiden tribute band that he sings in, and but this he just sounds just like fucking Bruce. But this album is really good. It came out August 4th. It came out, and this one I rock to a lot too. Song called Night Force is great there. In the Heart of the Wolf, Bare Knuckles, Cloud over Gothenburg, Terror Games, Black Sails at Dawn. Just a great, straightforward and metal album. This is like really, it is like Iron Maiden with all songs about the length of like Aces High, but you have the time changes and the soloing. It's a really, really solid album. And at number 8, I have the band called The Defiance. It's Paul Lane from Danger Danger, the guy that replaced Ted Poley in Danger Danger. And I forget who else is in the band. But I'll tell you what, this album could have came out in 1989, 1990. It sounds just like that kind of stuff. It's got the Danger Danger feel to it. It's got that, in quotations, hair metal, whatever. But like... And I mentioned it on our Queensryche when we, you can define hair metal however you want, but when someone says hair metal, you know what they're talking about. So you know what I mean. Take it as a derogatory thing or not, whatever. But like, it would fall into that category. Great album. That one came out in March 3rd. It came out. Listen to this one quite a bit. A song called Miracle Against the Grain. Love Doesn't Live Here Anymore is really good, like a good solid ballad. Just a great, fun album. Hey Life it opens up with, and then the next song is Go Big or Go Home, and you can definitely hear that this could possibly be like plucked off of a Danger Danger album or a band of that type of music, like a Firehouse, like a little more melodic Warrant, something like that. Just a fun album. Number 7, our buddies Ryan Spencer Cook, Phil Schaus, just a Rock City Machine Company, self-titled. And I looked this one up, and it says it came out in February, but it doesn't. It seems like it was out after that. It seems like I don't know if it was out and then I got the vinyl later, but that's what it says on Apple Music. But it seems like it came out later. But we've talked about this album quite a bit on the podcast. Starts out with Can't Stop the Train, Soul for Gold, Rambling Gambling Man, a summer song, The Last Time, High Road, Fallen in Love. Just a great album to just put on. This one's hit the porch quite a bit this year. Just a fun album. Those guys, I'm so glad that these guys put an album out because it's just great, fun band. The music is great. The production is excellent on it. And I'm kicking myself in the ass because I should have taken the album cover with me to the Ace show and got it signed by Ryan and by Phil when or not Phil, Jeremy Asbrock is the other one in the band as well, but Phil has not been playing live with them or been with them because he's back with Accepted. They're in Europe now. So, but just a fun album, and it's fantastic. And I think it's like 32 minutes long. It's a really short album. It's kind of very reminiscent of like early Van Halen albums, like very short and to the point. But like when it's over, you just want to play it again. It's that good. I really think it's fucking fantastic. Number 6 for me, Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. Absolutely love this. Kings of the Asylum. This one came out September 1st. I've been down with these guys since they came out. Just straightforward, hard. I don't know. I get kind of like a biker rock kind of feel to these guys. Like if you watch their videos, they're like the dude's like a big bearded guy singing and shit. And just a great band, walking in circles. Too much is never enough. Strike the Mask, Schizophrenia, Kings of the Asylum, The Hunt, Show No Mercy, No Guts, No Glory. Just a fun album. And I was pissed because I ordered this on vinyl at our local record store. It came, I put it on, and the fucking album was warped. So like I put the needle, it literally jumped the needle out the fucking record. I'm like, what the fuck? So I had to return it. I'm still waiting for a replacement for it. But just great, straightforward, fucking hard rock album. No frills, no crazy production, just good, straightforward hard rock. Phil Campbell still tears it up. His one son is the other guitar player and the drummer. And I think the only one that's not a son is the singer, I believe. And just a fantastic, fun hard rock album. Absolutely freaking love it. Whew. BC.
All right.
If you want to comment on everyone else's first, or however you want to do it.
I'm gonna go with Dylan. I mean, most of Dylan's I'm just getting new to, but Mammoth WVH, that's really growing on me. I don't know which one you said it. The second one's a little bit more, I don't know, for me, accessible for me. BB, of course, I'm gonna go with your pick from Jesse James Dupree. I mean, I just recently got that and rocking it out. And Dawkins, I mean, I was surprised. I mean, it sounds like, I don't mean to sound bad, but I was surprised how good it was.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't be good, but maybe
we get it. We totally get it.
I didn't have
because we've seen them live lately.
Yeah, so I was a little nervous, but that is a very good album. Steve, The Defiance. I mean, they've been around. What's this, third album?
That's their second album.
Second?
Yep.
Anyways,
I think it's the second one. The only two come up on thing.
But like I said, it's fun, And Paul Lane, he's been around a while, and he picked up on Danger, and continued to have those guys rock very good. And Rock City Machine Company, I mean, like you said, nice, fast, to the point, and just fun. So, okay, my 10 through 6 will be going back to August for the band I've been for the last 30-some years. Candlebox with the Long Goodbye. I mean, like I said, I've been a fan of these guys forever. They broke up for a little while, came back. To me, the Kevin Martin's voice is. There's certain bands like Iron Maidens and that grab me for their voice. I mean, the music's over from rocking to mellow stuff. Just his voice pulls me in. Talk about voices. My number 9 pick came out in October. Ronnie Atkins with Trinity. It's Ronnie. I mean, this is his 3rd solo album, and just recently they announced that Pretty Maids will do shows this year, so that's exciting. So we can hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe surprise.
If they were the Sailway band on the Mountains Rock Cruise, I could just get off the ship after that.
First port, drop me off.
Thank you. See you next. Thank you. Good night.
But I think this is his 3rd album. I think it's more rocking than the first 2. Not that the first 2 are not rocking parts, but more rocking than.
It's a little less like sentimental than the other ones were.
Yeah, a little less feelings, more rock. And number 8's going to be came out in September. You just heard of Steve Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, Kings of Asylum. Musically, this grabs me, and that's what I'm looking for in music. I want to put it on, and I want it to grab me, and this just nothing fancy about it, just good old rock. And that's what I like. And I'm going to stay in the month of September this year with the Corey Taylor at CMF2. I've always been a fan of this guy, except for the Slipknot stuff, because you really can't hear him sing. But when he came out with Stone Sour, I really got into Stone Sour. Again, this is his voice is, to me, great. I mean, and his album's all over the place. It's got Cookie Monster, like heavy Cookie Monster to just Cookie Growl, and then
Cookie Growl.
That's a new term.
The Cookie Crumbs.
The cookie crumble, and always the melodic. I mean, it's just a little bit of everything. It just pleasantly surprised with it. My sixth pick is going to be from May of this year with an older band. Heaven's Edge came out with Get It Right. And, I mean, I think I had to listen to it a few times, to be honest with you. I mean, again, their last album came out 30-some years ago. I don't think that second album was ever officially released, was it? I don't think it was.
No. I think it's kind of considered like a demos or like...
it wasn't really a released
like
album. So this is, I guess you would say...
It's out there, though.
It's, maybe their second album, but very melodic, and is what these guys do best. Overall, really great album. And that's my 10 through 6.
All right. We are moving right along here. So, moving right along. So before we get into our gem song, I got a couple things real quick. Let's talk about concerts from last year. When I went back, I'm like, I didn't see a lot of fucking concerts last year. I had to go back. I went back through my calendar, and we obviously, BC and I, we did Monsters of Rock cruise, and so we'll go around. So just like kind of give a couple concerts. I don't know. I don't think all of us. I don't think we did a lot of things because we didn't go to M3 because it was right after the cruise last year because the cruise was 2 days later. 2 days later. So it's been tough enough for BC and I to be off together for a week, let alone tack 3 or 4 days on that. Like when we come back, that's another, and a whole other story. But so Dylan, concerts for you. I know you had a couple, and I don't care if they're out of format because we talked about them, before.
Well, in format, the first concert of the year was Anthrax Exodus Black Label Society. That was fantastic. That was a great show at our usual haunt, Wind Creek in Bethlehem. Great place to see a show. It was general admission, so just a kick-ass thrash show that we almost had a problem with parking, but you managed to break the rules and get us into a good spot. And then I think the only other 2 concerts I went to were Taylor Swift, one in Tampa and then the other one in Philly. I think those were the only other 2 concerts I went to this year. But I have a concert next year lined up already with Iron Maiden, so at least next year I have my...
You got something
on my dance
advance.
card. Yeah. But Anthrax was great. Fantastic.
How are you, BB?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Black Label Anthrax. That was a great show. It's funny, like, and now even you say Taylor Swift. I think I was in parking lot for 45 minutes of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I was in the parking lot for 45 minutes for Pink.
You were Taylor gating, as they called it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Right?
Yeah. Because there would be people that would just be outside in the parking lot listening.
Yeah, because there had to be at least
Taylor gating
10. I'll knock it off. Probably at least 5,000 people between the stadium and that Infinity Bar. They had the road closed. That whole road was just full of people.
No shit.
Like,
maybe that's what they call tailgating at the Chiefs games now.
Tailgating, yeah.
Tailgating. And then other than that, the only other show I saw was the Winery Dogs at Penn's Peak.
Good show.
And yeah, they were really good.
You also saw Steve Vai.
And Steve Vai. I was going through my pictures. I'm like, And Steve Vai at the Kirby Center. That's right. It was a.
Oh, I did go to the ballet at the Kirby Center. That was another show I went to.
It was a bad year.
There's music.
It was a bad year for concerts around here because we're in that pocket of nobody comes to, or you have to drive 2 hours to go see.
Or they're expensive tickets like Metallica.
Well, it's just I think we're just in we're in a bad pocket. If they're not at Penn's Peak,
but we don't get the really
big ones
at Montage anymore. There were ones, but my timing this last year was I'll segue to mine unless you're
No, that's I'm done.
like the timing for me for a lot of these shows this year was terrible. With I'm beating a dead horse, but with how our work has been this year, kind of has just been a clusterfuck. So like the timing's been bad for a lot of shows, and but like ones that I did see, I said obviously BC and I did on Monsters of Rock Cruise. So, but two bands really stood out on that one. The two Queensryche shows were fucking absolutely fantastic on the cruise, and BC, that fucking Dirty Looks show on the pool deck, we fucking rocked the fuck out to that show. Like I said before, like half the crowd went and bought a shirt during the fucking show and went back in the show. It was absolutely fantastic.
Who are these guys?
Yeah, and we all did the Anthrax Black Label Society Exodus show. That was a great night, great time. Buck Cherry on Mork also was really, really good, BC. The two fucking idiots ruined the first show for me and Granza sitting up front. The two idiots that had Halloween costumes on or whatever, they were fucking shit up for us. I really thought that what the fuck's his name? What the fuck is the singer's name? It's like
Josh Todd.
Josh Todd. Sorry, total brain freeze there. I really thought Josh Todd was going to stop during the fucking song because they would not shut the fuck up, and they fucking had everybody around us distracted. So Josh Todd, good for you for not falling to the distraction. I definitely would have stopped the fucking show and told him shut the fuck up, get the fuck out. And I went with my wife to see Barry Manilow down in Reading. It was a good show. Like I said, that dude knows his crowd. And then we saw Ace a couple months ago down at the Sherman Theater. That was really good with Cor Rosick and Black Dawn. We had our buddy Richie got the I don't know if they call it luxury box, but the box on the side of the stage. It was really and like I said, I was shocked at how good Ace was. I other than him forgetting that he was doing a guitar solo and just did a Vinnie Vincent and kept fucking playing, and forgot that he had to stop at some point. Other than that, and not having no idea what the fuck he was saying when he was talking to the crowd is another thing. But he was the songs were at the tempo they should have been at. I for the most part, and it was a good show. WBC.
Yeah, like you said, Anthrax and those guys. That was a fun time as always. What else? The Monsters of Rock Cruise. That's probably the most bands I saw this year. And
Thank God for that.
Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, right? Or am I?
Yeah. It was in the fall.
Yeah, I don't know how I got there.
You drove probably.
Well, you obviously got home.
I got home, yeah. So that one, and then like you said, Ace. That was about it. And like Steve said, we were very surprised with Ace because we didn't go in expecting much because there was a lot of stuff on YouTube and stuff you saw, and it's like, oh boy. But he came out and he brought it that night.
I think maybe it seemed that much better because our expectations were so low.
Maybe. And,
But I still enjoyed it though.
And where we were, I mean,
we were practically on the stage.
Yeah,
we were on the fucking stage.
Once you sit in this place, you're ruined.
Yeah.
You're ruined for any other show.
But though, I'll tell you what though. At one point, I wanted to get out of there and watch from the front though. At one point, because it's cool. You're like literally. Ryan just walked over and handed me a pick at the end of the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like right there.
Well, and balconies off at theaters often don't have the best luck for some patrons.
No, they do not. They do not.
Nope.
And Rob got Ace's towel. Scott got it and gave it to Rob. So that was a cool show. So yeah, concert wise, and like I said, thank God for us for Monsters of Rock Cruise because it was just not a great year for shows. There were some that I didn't go to, and ones that I couldn't go to. But hopefully this year will be much better concert wise. So all right. So before we move on, we're going to do. Actually, let's get the bad news out of the way here. Where's my list here? Give me 2 seconds. Talk about the rock people or the rock world or whatever that passed away last year. So I wanted to give a little shout out to these people. Sebastian Marino, a guy that was in Overkill and Anvil. Jeff Beck, Lisa Marie Presley, Robbie Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive, Van Conner from the Screaming Trees, Alex Napier from Uriah Heep, Burt Bacharach. Remember he was on the Austin Powers movie? He was playing the piano when they were in the car. Michael Cupper from Running Wild, Gary Rossington from Leonard Skinner, Joshua Madsen from Artillery, Robert Lumley from Brand X, and the Spiders from Mars. That's Bowie's guy, right?
That were Bowie's backing band in the 70s.
Mick Slattery from Hawkwind,
70s.
Tom Leedon from Mudcrutch, Wayne Swinney from Saliva, Guy Bailey from the Choir Boys, John Regan, the Balls of the Band from Peter Frampton and Fraley's Comet, and 4 by Fate as well. Harry Belafonte, Tim Bachman, another Bachman, another one passed away from BTO, so I'm assuming they're brothers. Gordon Lightfoot, Algie Ward from Tank, The Damned, and the Saints. However, I know The Damned, but Kirk Arrington from Metal Church, Mark Adams from St. Vitus, Tina Turner, Tony Bennett, BC's favorite, Sinead O'Connor.
Really?
Yep.
Nothing compares to you.
John Gosling from The Kinks, Bernie Marsden from Whitesnake and UFO, Jack Sonny from Dire Straits, Jimmy Buffett passed away. He's up in the big Margaritaville in the sky. Steve Hartwell from Smash Mouth, Gary Wright, the Dreamweaver. Steve Riley from Wasp, LA Guns, and Steve Riley's LA Guns. And Charlie Dominici from Dream Theater. Was he their original singer?
Yeah,
he was their original singer, right?
He's the original guy.
Yeah,
When Dream and Day unite.
Yeah, so rest in peace, all of you rockers and musical people out there that passed away last year. I thought I'd just give a quick shout out to them. And the gem song we're going to play today is totally unbeknownst to me. I sent it out to the group that this is what we're going to play to break up the episode. And it's from BB's number
10.
BB's number 10 pick. Sorry, not that I didn't believe it, but I just
Didn't believe you.
I didn't believe it.
He never does. Why don't you believe it?
From the Sophie Lloyd album. This one is, and I think the BB didn't mention this one purposely because but this is one of the whole album is really, really good. But this one is called "Let It Hurt" from the Imposter Syndrome album, and she does this song with who? BB?
Black Stone Cherry.
Play it, Dylan. All right, hope you guys enjoyed Let It Hurt from Sophie Lloyd, featuring who, BB?
Black Stone Cherry.
All right, from the Imposter Syndrome album. Check it out, seriously. There's a lot of cool shit on there. Very, we may hear about this album from someone I don't know. I like I said, I don't know anyone's list, but if you liked the Nita Strauss album that came out this year, they had a bunch of guest stars on it. Very reminiscent of that. It could be like a sister album to the Nita Strauss album. So just to throw it in a little perspective there. So what I'd like to do is, on these year in review things, is talk about the show. We had, let me see, we did... Well, it was a year. We did 52. We did 52 episodes. Plus, we had a couple
Little bonuses.
little bonus ones here and there as well. So I just wanted to see if anybody had any kind of favorites they went through. How about you, Dylan?
You know what? I think that I really liked all of the 2x2s that came out this year. I think that there was a lot of really great features from some people outside the podcast, like Tom and Steven and Sonny and Brad and Aaron. I think that's a really great way to kind of showcase some of the different people that we've had on the podcast. And it's also a really great way to kind of go in depth on 2 albums, because a lot of times we're throwing out 4 albums at a time and talking about them. But with the 2x2 series, you can kind of focus in, zoom in on 2 albums from an artist, and it's a lot of fun. And the picks that everybody's done are really cool. Like you got Mr. Big with BB there. You got Lillian Axe with BC. Like, those are 2 artists that we don't really talk about at all on the podcast. So it's very, very cool to see that happen. I gotta say the Steve Jeopardy, the finally getting that Steve Jeopardy going was pretty fun. And I loved the Blue Oyster Cult stuff. I thought that was great. I love having Dave on. We had a couple drafts this year. We had Metallica and the ballad draft that I was getting my automatic picks in for that one because I wasn't in that episode. But there were some pretty cool episodes. Oh, and the alt rock episode, probably the one of the best episodes to come up with and hear everybody's reactions to. And that was a pleasure to introduce you to Paramore and Radiohead. Throw those out there.
And bringing Christine into the mix.
Yes, the ABCs of rock,
yeah,
of course. I loved that episode too.
That was your favorite episode of the year.
I think it honestly was.
He didn't have to look at any of us for one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really interesting to hear somebody who is not familiar with the genre talking about songs that we almost take for granted. Like, there's songs that we've heard through a majority of our lives, and she's hearing them for the first time. Like, it's really cool to hear those thoughts.
We could figure out a way to make that a thing, because the year before we did Seth and Tyler.
Yes, Seth and Tyler. That's right. Yes, yeah. That, like, I love introducing people to the genre and hearing their thoughts on it, because they might come up with something that you never even thought of, because it's just like
they're coming from a different angle.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really great episode for sure.
How about you, BC?
All right. A lot of my circles on this list are the ones at Lucky's with Jin and Sonny Pooney. I mean, just the ball busting alone in these episodes is fun. And there was the 1985 song battle. Another one is the ballad draft. Just hysterical shenanigans. Another one, Monsters of Rock rack up with all the guys. Again, more ball busting there. Steve's Jeopardy episode was fun. We got to that. Of course, the ones with the Kiss crew, they're always fun. What I got in the back here? The Kiss album battle. Of course, the Jeopardy that Dylan always does. I mean, they're some of the stand-ups.
BB.
Yeah, I love when the Kiss crew gets together. You make that ultimate Kiss album. We'll pick 4 or 5 Kiss albums and make one album. I love when we get together and do that. And not only like when the Kiss crew I love when we got long time listener Rob from Vancouver on. That was great to have him on. And with that episode, the Sick Banana solo that was great. I really enjoyed episode 319 with Steve and Michael when we did the night and day songs. I thought that was cool. I love when we just pick a word or a topic and you gotta kind of really think and do a little research and get that that perfect 8-song set list for a night or a day. But I think BC, you said this one, episode 291, the song battle with Jen and Sonny that we do, and Righty, we don't do bad episodes. It's just they're all good.
No, we got to pick a couple. It's like you can't pick your favorite children either. But you give them accolades every now and then.
That's true.
Yeah. For me, I honestly enjoy them all. I like when I also like when I'm not on it and you guys do something different, and I get to be like, fuck, I wish I was on that. I love the birthday episodes. Absolutely love them. I love doing the Kiss Crew ones. The 2x2s are great. Gives everyone else a break, except for Dylan. Poor Dylan. I thought March Talica was fun. We did the month dedicated to Metallica, which is weird because I think the ballad draft was thrown right in the middle of that, I believe, because we did Jen's birthday episode too. What else we got here? Love the Kiss Crew ones. The Blue Oyster Cult series with Dave is always a blast. So I'm wondering what next year is going to be BC's theme for his, because we had a Zach Stevens birthday for BC last year, so I'm sure he's cooking up something good there. And I love the Jeopardy ones. Dylan does a great job with them. I loved doing it, doing the Jeopardy episode that I hosted was cool, and I was glad that we were able to get Dylan to be able to participate in one of those as well. I love when we do the Anything Goes one. We did that one at Lucky's with Sonny and Jen from the 1978 to 88, and there was just some crazy shit on there. I love the guessing episodes where we send all the shit to Sonny and he does his gorilla math and figures out the percentages and all that shit, and you're surprised at who picks what, and hopefully that when we do one like that next year, BC will pick his list and not Renee.
That was all mine.
Just saying. I really enjoyed BC's square table discussion that we had. That was a fun one. There's just I have the whole list in front of me. I just enjoy doing this. It's absolutely fantastic, and I want to run down. Here's all the guest hosts that we had this year. And please, if I miss anybody out there, please let me know. I don't think I did because I went through it pretty good. I want to, and these people will be mentioned also in the thank yous at the end. But this is the people that guested with us throughout the year. Estrogen and John Vana for hosting at Lucky's. Always fun going over there. Sonny Pooney, the Kiss Crew, Rob, Granza, Scotty, and we had Richie and we had Mike on the last episode that went to the Kiss show with us. Brad Rustoven, Tom Gelati, Aaron Martell, Mark Anthony K. I love doing the Project Gemini stuff with Mark, and we're going to be doing another Rush episode with Mark this year coming up. I have that in the works as well. We'll have Mark back on with that. Dave Borowski, the classic rock he does with us, and Blue Oyster Cult with Dylan and myself. Stephen Michael. And we have a rule in the podcast now because we have the Stephen rule that when we do the picks, you can't pick your own shit. But it's the best. No, you can't pick your own shit. And our buddy Rob Karhukangas from Vancouver.
There you go.
Awesome having him back on, and we will absolutely get him back on. And it's always great having these other guests. I think they add just so much more to the podcast, and I love this here, us in the one room. But it's always cool to have someone else in there to do that extra ball busting or give you that extra perspective that you don't normally get from us. We're kind of pretty comfortable of what we talk about and what we know, but like we get other people on the show, and it's always good to get their perspective as well. So always fun doing those ones. And thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to not even out of your day, for out of however long we do the listening to the playlist, to the if you're doing an album with this, to doing the research on the album, on the 2x2s that we do. I just appreciate everybody coming on, and helping us out and making the show as fun as it is. And then you guys and girl absolutely add to it. I want to get Heather back on this year as well. And it was always great. She was our gracious host out in California. We went on the Kiss Cruise out there. It was awesome.
She's too busy on Coleco. She has no time.
She works in a record store now.
Does she really?
Yeah. I think they're paying her in vinyl. So yeah, she's working in a record store out there.
Oh, that's cool.
So Heather, if you're listening, good luck with that, and we love you. So yeah, so let's get back into our things. So let's go reverse. So let's go BC for your 5, 2, 1.
5, 2, 1. All right.
1, 2, 5.
So I'm going to start off with number 5.
I hope so.
With the album called 6 from Extreme. I mean, this is their first new album in quite some time. And I was pleasantly surprised by it. I mean, started off strong. A little, some, not weak, but just different tempo songs throughout the album. But overall, you can throw it on and truly enjoy it. I mean, it's good to hear new music from those guys.
It's been a while.
My number 4 is going to be the guy over to my right here got me into this. Dirty Honey with Can't Find the Brakes. I mean, I at first I play it and this is really, I like it because like a locomotive, it's building. I keep finding myself going back to it. Can't go wrong with that. Number 3, Godsmack with Lighting Up the Sky. I mean, I guess this is going to be their last album from what they're telling everybody, but hey, overall, I mean, they never laid down on the album. I think there'll be another album. They just don't know yet. They're going to fight it, but they're not.
Well, they didn't sign a contract, so they still can legally do it.
They can just come out with them. They say they're not going to do any more albums. My number 2 is going to be KK's Priest with the Center Rides Again. I mean, just the ripping guitars. I mean, I can't wait to see these guys. I mean, that's... I'll talk about that later. But I guess musically, this is what you go to certain bands for. And then, I don't know, I keep going back to this album over and over quite a few times. And I'm finish up with Metallica with the 72 Seasons. I mean, we went to the, what would you call it? Record release
in the theater, yeah.
In the theater, that was pretty cool. I mean, it was, just hearing the album for the first time over those speakers in a movie theater was, I mean, you can't go wrong with Metallica. I don't care. I mean, they're selling out stadiums for a reason. I mean, that's just some of my picks from this year.
All right. For BC's picks, his top 5, Extreme 6, that kind of missed for mine. It missed because of that little fall off towards the middle, towards the end of the album. Like, it starts off like the first part of the album is like, and then it kind of does like Extreme Porno Graffiti 2 kind of does that for me a little bit. Like, it starts out and then it just kind of just goes down a little bit.
You can't keep it going like that. You blow a gasket.
Yeah. So. What else we got? The Dirty Honey one, I really haven't gotten around to listen to that whole one. The Godsmack album is great, just a great... If that is their last album, it's a really good one. I like the last one before that a little better, but this one is still really good. KK's Priest, you may hear about that later. Metallica, 72 Seasons. I enjoy that. It's not in my top 10, but great album. Soloing in is great. It was cool going to that premiere with you guys, but like they had videos for probably half the songs, I'd say, but like when they didn't, all that crazy shit on the screen, I had to fucking close my eyes because it was making me fucking sick. I was getting like because we were in the front row too. We're in the front row or the second row?
We were in that front section.
We were in the front row.
So
you're like
you're at the Alex Theater.
Yeah. I felt like I had Jerry's Coke bottle glasses on too. So it kind of made me a little woozy, but good picks. Like I said, you'll hear a little bit about something else that's on there too. And for me, I'll go next. My number 5 album is. Oh, there's my list. Okay. My number 5
Let
album.
me go through my 87 albums. I'll pick this one.
Here's my list of 51 albums. And so my number 5 album will be this.
Call me Snake. 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 Snake.
That will be my number 5 album, the 69 Eyes, Death of Darkness. Absolutely fucking love it. Just a fun album. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We'll be in the nursing home when we're like 90.
Love it. I love it. Death of Darkness title track, Drive, California, Call Me Snake. Come on, it's about fucking Snake Plissken, motherfuckers. Fucking love this album. I think it's fantastic. My number 4 album is going to be Mystic Prophecy. It's got the singer from Devil's Train on there. Just an absolutely kick-ass album. The album's called Hell Riot. And title track on there, Unholy Hell. Metal Attack is on there. Revenge and Fire. Just Ezreal, World on Fire at the end of the album. I'll tell you what, this album, there is not anything even close to a skipper on this album. I think it's absolutely fucking stellar. And I rocked the fuck out to this one. I played it twice the other day because I have a playlist of, I did a playlist of my top 10, and then I did about 4 or 5 honorable mentions, and then I did live albums, and the playlist is like 17 hours long. So, and that's just this, not even a quarter of what I had narrowed it down from. So my number 3 album is going to be, this one came out in January, Avatar, Dance Devil Dance. I've just been cranking this thing all year long. Songs like Dance Devil Dance, BC's favorite, Chimp Mosh Pit, On the Beach, we gotta Riot, The Dirt I'm Buried In is just absolutely fantastic. I think that's a song I picked that we did on the songs one. There's a song called Train on there. It's just such a weird song. The song's called BC's favorite. It's called Violence No Matter What. It's a duet with Lizzie Hale. Friggin' cool song. Makes you want to friggin' go nuts and smash some shit. My number 2 album was BC's number 2 album as well. KK's Priest. The Sinner Rides Again. This is another one that I just been rocking the fuck out to since it came out. This one came out in September though, so and it really caught me that quick. Sons of the Sentinel on there. Strike of the Viper. Reap the Whirlwind is freaking fantastic. Pledge Your Souls is really good. Just a solid album. And my number 1 album for this year, hands down. This one came out. I think this one came out in the winter as well, because they it came out a little later because it came out after we saw these guys on Monsters of Rock Cruise. Buck Cherry Volume 10. Man, when that album starts, that is the best beginning of a fucking album that has been out in a long time. I could just replay that all the time. The song is, even the ballad-like songs on this are really good. That first song is called This and That, Good Time. Total rockin' song on there, Keep On Fighting, is just absolutely fantastic. One and Only, Rock Shine Your Light, Let's Get Wild With You. There's a slower song called Pain on there that's really good. That is pretty much the ending song of the album, but then there's a cover of Bryan Adams' The Summer of '69 on there that is really just a solid cover. It kind of reminds me of just how solid it is when Queensryche did Rebel Yell on Digital Noise Alliance. So it's not really, I don't really consider part of the album, but it's just a good cover track at the end of the album. So that's what I got. I got 69 Eyes, Death of Darkness, Mystic Prophecy, Hell Riot, Avatar, Dance Devil Dance, KK's Priest, The Sinner Rides Again, and Buck Cherry Volume number 10 for my number 1 of the year. So then that brings us up to BB.
All right. I'll just touch on on your guys' picks or your top 5. Yeah, I kind of pegged. I had a feeling if I was a betting man, BC, I would have bet the house you had Godsmack in your top 5. Definitely. I figured Dirty Honey would be on Dylan's, but we haven't heard Dylan's yet. Extreme was on mine, but it was a little bit lower. KK Priest, I expected Steve to pick, but you did pick it. And Metallic, I didn't know where you were going to throw Metallic in. But yeah, definitely a good top 10. Righty, I'm so upset with myself that I didn't have that Mystic Prophecy on my list.
Oh, really?
It wasn't even, I don't know why it's...
Didn't hit your radar at the end.
But when you brought it up, was there like did we do a song battle or?
Yeah, it was one of the songs
it was
from
like, oh my
2023.
God.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it and I played it and gone. But like, fuck, that wasn't. That's my. Why didn't I draft that guy? No. Avatar, I'm not familiar with. The KK Priest, like I said, when you said Buck Cherry, I honestly thought that would have been a you pick. Because didn't you bring that a couple months ago? You brought that album, right? Was that your halfway album?
I gotta get his copy.
I think you flip flopped.
Oh, it's too.
Here you go. Here's 51 to choose from.
When you said Buck Cherry, I'm like, I gave you the bird head. I'm like,
I saw that. I'm like,
you didn't pick Buck Cherry? No, but definitely you
guys.
But
it's tough though because there's
so much.
I was thinking all year there was like, what the fuck am I going to pick? And then I'm looking, I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of shit they listen to here.
Yeah, the later half of the year,
He picked Night Demon, and I think he picked Buck Cherry for like the halfway.
The later part of the year picked up.
The later part of the year was
First part of the
really
year was like,
good.
oh my God, there's nothing.
Yeah, we were kind of stretching. I think a lot of them came out in the second part of the year.
Yeah, for sure. At least for me, my lists are definitely second half heavy. But yeah, definitely you guys, your top 10 is spot on. I'm just not familiar with that Avatar. I'll have to.
You may not like a lot of it.
we heard at least one song.
Yeah,
that's true.
Dirt I'm Buried In was one of the songs on
I don't think it was
very
that bad.
Avatar-like song for most of it.
All right, so my top 5. Number 5. We're going to go back to February 3rd. This album was released. The Winery Dogs with 3. I'm glad this wasn't on your guys' list because I like when you guys kind of like we all bring something a little bit different to the table, and this is definitely a great album. If you guys like the first 2 albums, Winery Dogs 3 is right in that vein of how they sound. They did not really change a thing. They still sound fantastic as they did when they released their first album. Just a couple headliners for me was Rise. They have that cool Winery Dog swagger sound to them. Richie's vocals are great. Just the playing with these 3 guys are just fucking spectacular. Xanadu is another good one. That was a single and a video that they did. And one of my favorites on that album is Gaslight. There's some cool palm muting that Richie does, and it's like super fast for a Winery Dog song. It's probably one of my favorites out of their whole catalog. Album number 4 is a band called Kill Devil Hill. These guys are very grungy heavy, I'll say. A couple of the songs. Playing with Fire, it's very like Alice in Chains-ish. If you guys are, anybody out there listening is into Alice in Chains, these guys will definitely do that for you. Definitely check these guys out. Another one, Eye of the Storm. Cool rocker right out of the gate. Drums are super heavy. Once again, you get that really dark, grungy feel to it. And, another song, The Bitter End. It's like a slower, darker song. There's some really good bass and drum fills in that one. Kill Devil Hill, definitely check that out. Love that album. Album number 3, Righty, The Defiance. And you hit the nail right on the head. One of the songs I picked out, it's very radio-friendly, number 19, Summertime. It reminds me of Bon Jovi and Danger Danger. And as I was giggling like a little kid when you were saying it, I'm like, it's Bon Jovi and Danger Danger. But this album is great. A great album if you are itching for 80s hair metal music. these guys definitely fill it. It's a great album. Great album. It has that big harmonies, big guitar fills, great melodic sound. Another one, So Good. Probably my favorite on the album. There's a really amazing solo. There's like scream vocals at the chorus towards the ends that are really, really good. The opener, Hey Life, is just like screams 1980s radio. Definitely a great album. Album number 2 is Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. You guys, it's on your guys' list. You know, we already kind of talked about it for a little bit. Somebody brought a song to the table a couple times, but this is just a great heavy metal rock album. Walking in Circles, a great opener, cool back and forth vocals. The shredding of this album is just sick bananas. Too Much Is Never Enough, super fast, raspy vocals, great band vocals, fantastic song, and their title track, Kings of the Asylum. Heavy bluesy, rocky, heavy groovy sound, amazing guitar work, really, really good stuff. And then my number 1 is a band called She Burns Red with the album Out of Darkness. It was released September 14th. These guys kind of scratched the 90s metal rock, like young, how do I want to say this? Like young, like Puddle of Mud and Candlebox and
Breaking Ben.
It has that feel of 90s metal rock, local metal rock. These guys are fantastic. I think they're out of Scotland. They're like a Scotland metal band. Definitely check these guys out. Really, really good stuff on there. Like I said, the album is called Out of Darkness. It was released September 14th. Couple standouts for me are Touch, great opener. The solo is off the charts. Killer drum beat. Vocals are 90s, not like I said, 90s feel to them. Another one, Heavy Is the Head. Kind of, I swear to God, Dill, you'll have to check this song out because if it is Dave Grohl in the chorus, it is just mind blowing. I actually had a look to make sure he didn't.
I'm gonna say, is he on there?
He's not on there.
Really? Oh.
It is just crazy. This song is called Heavy Is the Head.
Hopefully it's good. Anyways.
And then another one is Out of Darkness. It's one of those 90s roller coaster songs. You got the screaming vocals at the chorus. It slows down. The screaming solo. Back up. More screaming vocals. Slows down towards the end. And then back up for the outro chorus. Just a great album. Like I said, it kind of brings back that 90s local bar scene feel to it. So I'm sure Jen will love this album. And if she doesn't like this album, there's definitely something wrong with her.
Well,
yeah, we know there's something wrong.
Something else wrong.
Something else wrong there.
But that's my my 5.
All right, Dylan, bring it home for your top 5.
Okay, there's only 2 repeats in my top 5, and I think they were both on BC's list. Number 5, I also went with Metallica 72 Seasons. There was no doubt that Metallica was probably going to end up on the end of the year list, and this was a fantastic album for them. They've just been consistently putting out great music since Death Magnetic, and this is just another amazing album in the oeuvre. Shadows Follow and Darkness Had a Sun. A lot of darkness and like nighttime themes on this album, but it's really good. I had to put it in the top 5. My number 4 pick, Corey Taylor, CMF2. I very much like this album quite a bit. It showcases the Stone Sour and the Slipknot side of Corey Taylor very well. There's a lot of great heavy stuff on there. Post traumatic blues. All I Want Is Hate. It's a very Slipknot-y song. But you also got a very melodic Corey with Fresh Breath of Fresh Smoke. And Sorry Me, his vocals are fantastic, and the guitar work on this album is really good, not to be overlooked for sure. So CMF2 is number 4 on the list. Number 3, I was surprised that nobody else had this in their top 10, but I'm sure it's an honorable mention. Nita Strauss's Call of the Void. This was a great album. This is how I really enjoy guitarists to do their albums, where they have some instrumentals, but then they also have features. And the cool thing about the features on this album is that I think that she contorts her guitar work to go along with the singer. So she does Digital Bullets with Chris Motionless. It's a very Motionless in White-esque song. Through the Noise with Lizzie Hale, very Hailstorm-esque. With the singer of In Flames, The Golden Trail. Really cool song that's very much like In Flames. Of course, you have the song with Alice, Winner Takes All. That's very good. They're all fantastic. I think that she is just a powerhouse of a guitar player, and all of these songs really showcase her very well. There's maybe one of them that I wasn't as big a fan of, Kintsugi, which was like one of the later ones. It's kind of a slower track. Oh. But, that one song out of the rest of them, that's not bad. Just really, really great. Fantastic showcase of both her and the singers that she had on. My number 2 one, this was a recent addition, and I had mentioned them on the podcast, but the band Otto, with Life is a Game.
With 2 T's.
With, 3 T's.
3 T's, right?
With 3 T's. This surprised me so much. Of course, I mentioned that this is, Robert Trujillo's son's band, and I had seen them in the Geddy Lee show, and I went to go check them out, and this album blew me away. You got songs like Skyscraper that really heavy. There's some great thrash elements to this band, and there's some great punk elements as well. And really awesome time changes, cool soloing. The singer sounds awesome. I just think it's a really solid band that I'm looking forward to hearing more work from, because they just sound really tight, and they're younger too, so they have their whole career ahead of them, and I'm very excited to see what they come out with. So I had to put them at number 2 because just the surprise factor of that. It wasn't on my radar at all. I just happened to find them by chance, and the album just stuck with me. But my number 1 with the Bullet, this album came out in June. Listened to it. I knew it was going to be on the top 10 list, and I knew it was probably going to be in the top 5, and it ended up being my number 1. This was the album that I had featured in the half of the year list, Foo Fighters, but here we are. This album has so much heart to it, and it's such a healing album, you could tell, for Dave and the band. They had lost Taylor, they had lost Dave's mother, and all these songs are kind of about them and their loss. But there's so much joy in the album as well. Songs like Over You are rockin'. The title track is sad. The Teacher is such an epic, 10-minute song that you don't expect from the Foos, but it just kicks ass. And they play it live, too. They have it on the set list, which is awesome. But this is just such a fantastic album that really showcases the love that they had for their lost loved ones. And I just couldn't put anything else at number 1 on the list. So Foo Fighters, But Here We Are was my top album of 2023.
All right. BB, what do you got for Dylan's? We'll do you, then BC, then me for Dylan's, and then we'll do the next part.
Yeah, the one day before we recorded, Dylan played the Otto song. I definitely have to check that out. Even before you showed me, I'm thinking, I'm waiting for it, and I knew your number 1 was going to be the Foo Fighters. That's why I didn't showcase any of it, because I knew it was definitely going to be on your list. I figured top 3. Nita Strauss, you may hear a little bit in a couple minutes. And the Corey Taylor, I'm gonna have to check that out.
That's good.
It's good.
That was definitely not on my list.
You'll like it. Even there's Cookie, but not over Cookie.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot of melodic Corey, a lot of regular.
It's probably are there songs that have the Cookie vocals and the melodic chorus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The songs that have the Cookie vocals will have a melodic chorus.
Yeah. Okay. But a stellar list.
BC, what do you got for Dylan and BB?
Dylan, Metallica, of course, and Corey Taylor. Out of your list, Nita Strauss. I have to sit down more and give that album a lot more. And Otto, I want to look into those a little bit more. BB, A Wine Your Dogs, just missed my list. Kill Devil Hell, I didn't know they're still out. Yeah. They've been out for a while, right?
I think so.
Doing a few albums, okay. And She Burns Red. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
I put it in my library and saved it. And then back to Steve. The 69 Eyes. It's But the Mystic, I remember him having that song, and I got to look into that too. And Buck Cherry, that totally just...
You lost it.
That totally escaped my...
Escaped your head. Escaped your realm.
So you said, I'm like... But I did pick it. But not...
God damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah, for Dylan's Metallica 72 Seasons, I think I'm the only one out of the four of us that didn't have Metallica in their top 10, but it was hovering right there. The CMF, I wasn't sure if it was CMF because the first one was CMFT, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I have to check that out because I love his singing voice. He's got such great range, and I really like the first one, so I'll have to check out the second one. Call the Void, Nita Strauss. She was one of my honorable mention ones. I like everything on there except the one from the guy with Disturbed because it sounds just like this Disturbed and it fucking blows. That Auto, I have to check that one out. I knew you'd have Foo Fighters there, and I enjoyed that album when we did it. I did. I like that one. And BB's Winery Dogs 3 because he did that album too for the halfway albums, which was really good. I got to check out that Kill Devil Hill. I wasn't aware that was out. I have the first one from way back.
Really good.
Is Vinny Appice still in that? Because he was the original drummer in that band.
Ooh, I'm
I
not 100% sure.
Who's in that band now because he was in the first inclination of that band. The Defiance, of course, that was in my top 10. Phil Campbell, that was in my top 10 as well. And She Burns Red. You sent me that today. I got to listen to about half of it. I really liked what I heard. So
he is not. Johnny Kelly is now.
Johnny Kelly from Type O Negative.
Well,
all right,
it's different.
Thank you. So very cool. I love doing these ones, and it's weird too because someone else says one, you're like, oh, how did I miss that one? Like I listened to it a lot, you know what I mean? Because I could see BC when I said Buck Cherry. He's like, fuck. So yeah. So how about some honorable mentions? We'll just go around real quick, give a couple honorable mentions because like I said, I had my final list, like I said, narrowed down to 51. So name a couple, Dylan.
Night Demon was on the list. It was just kind of too short of an album.
Yeah,
for
it's
me
more of a long little.
Yeah,
it's a quarter of a Dream Theater EP.
Yeah, and the same thing with Spirit Box. They came out with like a shorter EP, and the same thing with Ghost. That was also an EP. I couldn't really put those on the list. Right. Winery Dogs was on my short list, and Alice Cooper as well. I just didn't get enough time with Alice, and I was just more focused on the Nita than I was on the Alice. So those were kind of my honorable mentions.
All right, BB.
Yeah, I only had a couple. The Nita Strauss, the Call of the Void, I was hoping someone at least said something about that. And then this band released an EP this year. They're called the LA Maybe. They are... I sent it to Steve and BC because I think it was one... Because I sent it to Steve because it was going to be... One of the songs going to be my gem song. And I sent it to BC because it has that heavy... It's like heavy Black Crowes Led Zeppelin feel. And I'm like, oh, hey, if you're still in your Led Zeppelin zone, check these guys out. Because I think there's only...
Zeppelin.
Yeah. Zeppelin.
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, I think it's only like 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, it's an EP.
Yeah. I think it's like 4 or 5 songs. Great, good stuff. It's not mind-blowing, but it's
I saw them live
good.
twice.
Did you really?
They were on the Kiss Cruise, the last Kiss Cruise we were on.
No way.
They were fantastic. They were fucking awesome.
All right.
I was going to say, I think you have a shirt of
I have a shirt. Yeah, I have the shirt.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. They were fucking fantastic.
So they don't have any other albums out? They just have this EP?
They have the EP. They have they have a full album.
Oh, they do have a full album out.
Yeah, it's called Tricks.
Okay. So I'm wondering why they have a... All right, I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, because they did the album, but then they released a couple singles, and I think they just condensed the singles into the EP.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, the LA Band, great.
Fun band. Super nice guys, too.
Yeah, like I said, I only had 2, and then I'm glad you guys kind of brought a little bit of the rest of my list here, so.
BC.
All right. Some honorable mentions. I'm going to have Temple Balls with the Avalanche. Came out in November. Very catchy rock. And then I'm going to need Dylan's help for this one. But Live Sin came out the album this year, and it's called
Kelly Yuga.
Kill Yuga.
God bless you.
Very like angry. Like she's like fucking. I'm like, oh, a little different from Sister Sin, but it's just very musically, and it just
And the production's really good.
production's really good. I mean, and she just my hitting gym this week was going to be she just came out with another song. I don't know if it's another album coming out.
Save it. Dylan's been mixing the
Listen,
the hidden gems lately.
So I'll bring that back up.
All right. For me, have a seat because I got a bunch.
so this is why I mix the hidden gems.
Yeah.
Here's a bunch.
Our buddy Jay Luke, his album "Me and My Demons" was really good. I really enjoyed that. I hope people give that a chance because he's a really great artist, and he's a good friend of the show. Here's one I'm surprised that no one had in their top 10, especially BC. Eclipse's new album, Megalomanium.
I didn't get enough time. With it.
I just didn't get enough time to spend with it either. What else we got here? Station and Time Goes On. Really good album. They're a band that I had their first album in my Apple Music, but then I kind of didn't get a chance to listen to it. But then I listened to it the one day, and it was friggin' really good. Temple Balls I had as well, BC. And here's one album, the new Doro album, Conquer is Forever Strong and Proud. The first time I listened to it, I'm like, what the fuck? This sucks. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give it another chance. I gave it another shot, and it was really good. I don't know
when I first listened to it.
Yeah, give it another try because I was the same way. I'm like, this is not good, but it was really good. Primal Fear, Code Red. I picked one of their songs for the episode that we did the songs. The Struts, Pretty Vicious, really good album, solid. Satan's Fall. This is a band that one of the Pooney albums that gave me and BC. BC didn't care for it too much. I thought it was fantastic. And I got to throw the Dokken out there too, BC or BB, because I thought that was. I'm looking at that kind of like I looked at the Ace show.
It was a
My
surprise.
expectations were not great.
No, not at all.
But he stayed in his lane.
He
stayed in his lane. He didn't try to Paul Stanley it and go crazy and shit. But I thought it was really good. So and the Nita Strauss one as well. I thought was fantastic. Except that one song with that guy. Live albums. There was some cool live albums that came out this year. I don't know if anybody checked any out. Do you have any, Dylan, or no?
So the live album that I'll feature, we mentioned Live in Chicago 23 from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. It was 3 shows in Chicago, the 11th through the 13th of June, and it is 40 songs at 5 hours and 40 minutes.
Dear Lord and baby Jesus.
It's $20 on Bandcamp, which is not bad for
40
songs. That's 50 cents a song. And it basically runs the gamut of their catalog. They have songs from the most recent album, and they have songs even like that from
That's
all the
cool.
other albums before there. So you can listen to Motor Spirit, Supercell.
That's just cool that they actually change it up.
They do. They have they have such a massive catalog.
If you go to the Gallery of Sound, there's a whole section of them there.
Yeah, they put out like at least 3 albums a year. This time it was 3 albums, but like there are some years they put 5 out.
Bands
they
can't
have
do 1 in 5 years.
Yeah, let me
or 10.
see how many albums they currently have. They have 25, 26 studio albums. 2022 they
More
came
than
out
Kiss,
with
and they started in
5 albums.
1973.
Yeah, so they're a hard-working band. But and you can listen to 40 of their songs live
On Bandcamp.
5 hours long.
That's crazy. You got any live ones, BB?
I do. I have 2 of them. Tesla with Full Throttle Live. And Dylan, you may like this because it opens up with Miles Away.
Full Throttle, that's you.
Yeah, that's BC's nickname.
And the Phil Campbell one is, I think it's Live in the North. Great, that was my number 2 album, but it was a really, really good live album. You'll definitely have to check that out, Righty.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that album later. Actually.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Front-row, George.
You got any BC?
Nothing really grabbed me this year except for the Night Ranger. I mean, they came out with the 40 years with the
orchestra.
The Youth Contemporary Orchestra.
Thank you. I always screw that up, but I like the newness it gave to the older songs. Maybe is that what I'm looking for? The new dimension to it, but very enjoyable. And I want to check out the Phil Campbell's.
All right. Yeah, for me, my number one is absolutely the Night Ranger 40 Years in a Night with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra. And that's in the Cleveland area, by the way. And they had the conductor and Eric Levy from Night Ranger on the Fans in Motion podcast. It'll be like maybe 3 weeks ago when this comes out. But it's youths from within I think they said a 30-mile radius of Cleveland. And
hello, Cleveland.
It's fucking excellent. I'll tell you what, the song "Call My Name" from Dawn Patrol, and the one guy said it on the podcast, and I totally agree. It is the definitive version of that song. The orchestra adds so much to the version to that song that it is just fucking crazy. That's one that I when I was listening to it the other day, I went back to it 5 times in a row. It's that good. What else do we got here? Royal Republic, cool band that you guys are going to be listening to very soon. They had an EP out. It's called Live at the Olympia in Paris, I believe. Hollywood Vampires live in Rio, which was good, except for the Manic Depression song. Fucking blows. And actually, this one, it's not a new one, but they did a 40th anniversary version of Live Evil Black Sabbath. That the remix sounds fucking fantastic on there. The Rods live at Rose Hall, which features the photographs from our buddy Jim Polkowski's on that.
No, very cool.
Really?
Yes. And also Blue Oyster Cult 50th anniversary live night 1. It's 2.5 hours long. It's fucking fantastic. Fantastic. And my buddy Joe Bonamassa also had a live album out called Tales of Time. So there's some cool ones there that I like to throw. I love live albums, and always a huge fan of live music. Now to the fun part. Disappointing albums. What disappointed you this year, Dylan?
Royal Blood. I would say that there are a lot of great songs on there, but there's a little too much mid-tempo. It's probably my least favorite album from them, but the good stuff on there is so good that you're just like, oh, I want the rest of the album to be like this, and it just quite isn't there. And I don't want to say Dirty Honey, but I get there's too much mid-tempo stuff on there too. The rocket stuff is fantastic, but they start the album out with a mid-tempo song, which is not how you do it.
No, especially for them too.
Yeah, especially for them, and they do such amazing riffs and such cool grooves. To start off with a mid-tempo-ish song is not.
And they had a great momentum after the first album too.
Yeah, and You Won't Take Me Alive was such a great opening single. You're like, oh yes, kid.
They opened the album with that. That'd suck you right in right off the bat.
Yeah, so I maybe just the ordering of the album probably did it in for me, but those are really the two that stick out in terms of disappointments. There was still enjoyment to be had in both of them, but I was disappointed that I couldn't put them on the top 10.
BC, what do you got?
I don't have any really disappointment albums. I have a disappointment thing I want to talk about.
All right.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Wait, let me crack a beer. Let me crack a beer for this one, BC.
Here comes
Holy cow,
here comes
Jesus Christ.
the feats of strength is going to be next.
What? Everybody
Do
knows.
we have to get the soapbox out?
Yep. Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody knows I'm a big Lizzie Borden fan. So back in August, he released a single, "Death of Me," in 2023.
It's going to be the death of BC. I'm going to change the name of it.
I mean, it's all right, but he was supposed to have an album out last year.
I know.
He was supposed to release singles and then released the album, and here it is, 2024 practically, and still nothing. I mean,
it might come out by the end of the year.
You can talk to him in 2 months.
I can send him an email. Hey, what the fuck?
He's too busy going to fucking hockey games.
The hockey goes on for a while. Fucking put that out.
It's a long season.
long season. But that's my only disappointment, I would say.
You could record when they're away. How about you, BB?
Yeah, I have one I'm going to bring to the table is a guy who I love vocally, but for some reason I could not get into his album. That Dino
Jesuit.
I butcher his name every time. Vocally, mind-blowing vocally. This album
The rest of it?
was all over the fucking place. There was like melodic, like softer stuff. There was maybe one or two really good songs. Then it gets like fast, almost gruff vocals. It's just one of those albums that it covers it covers every genre that you can think of in an album, and it's too busy for me. I wish he just kind of stuck to something good, like hard rock, his big melodic vocals, get a guy who can shred. But
His voice.
yeah, it's just one of those.
I
things
liked that.
Did you
I
really?
did. I liked that album.
Man,
He was behind us getting on the cruise list.
I liked that album.
Man, I listened to it.
I liked it because it was different. Like
I force fed myself to like it, and I couldn't like
because
it.
I was thinking I was going in.
thinking something else. Yeah. For me, I got a couple. BB brought it up. The Phil Campbell Live in the North. I'm not disappointed in the music at all. It's the production.
Yeah.
Like, it's a live album and songs fade out.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? I know I talked about it before,
Yeah.
but like, I can't get past that. It's like, the songs are killer on there. The performances are fantastic, but they fade out, and it doesn't even close sound like it's a cohesive live album.
Right.
It's just I don't know. It kind, it reminds me of a fucking 8-track when it fucking fades out halfway through a song, and then the track
channel
clicks,
changes,
and then it starts on the next side. It kind of reminds me of that. But musically and performance wise, it's great. But the production is like, who the fuck produced that album? L.A. Guns, Black Diamonds. I could not get into that album. It has our buddy Sean Duncan on drums on that, but I don't know. It did not connect with me at all. I got to throw this one out there. Saxon, more inspirations. Please, Saxon, stick with Saxon.
That wasn't disappointing because I was prepared going into it this
I'm
time.
disappointed.
knew it was gonna be bad.
I'm disappointed that they released it.
Yeah.
Let alone,
After
whatever.
the last one.
The Hurricane album, Reconnected. First song is killer, and then it just fucking nosedives. I have Heaven's Edge in there. Get It Right. It just, I think I love the first album so much that I was just hoping for that, and I didn't get it. But there's some really good stuff on there. But I just think that it's maybe not disappointing in the realm of the songs. Maybe just that it didn't hold up to the first one.
Your expectations were way too high
so
for
in
it.
love with the first one and what that was.
That's what.
because
That's
so
what.
long ago.
Yeah, with me.
When I first put that on, I'm like,
And I never thought I'd say this. I'm extremely disappointed in the new Glenn Hughes album. It's Glenn Hughes and Robin George. I don't know who the fuck that is. It's called Overcome. I was overcome with sadness when I fucking listened to it. BC's feeling my forehead, but it's like a disco album.
The Glenn Hughes shill
What the
was.
fuck is this?
See, we tried to tell him Glenn Hughes wasn't good in the Daisies, Dylan.
Maybe if John Corabi was with Robin George,
It would be so much better.
the mayor.
Fuck all you. Fuck y'all. And I was rather disappointed in the Lynch Mob album, Babylon.
It's all right.
Right. It's okay.
Did you ever think
it's
that you would
supposed to
be in a situation where you would be saying Lynch Mob was worse than Dokken?
Not these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not these days. No. They're great live. Well, I mean, last time we saw them live, they weren't great live, but
Little weak.
George was under the weather, I guess. But Tony Masalin's brother Jaron is in the band, and George Lynch gave him huge props on the on Eddie Trunk. He said he's like pretty much the glue that holds the band together. He does a lot of stuff on the side, so I'm glad. And we talked to Jaron on the cruise. Tony introduced us to him, and we were in there and waiting to go on one of the shows up in that one bar. super nice guy, but I don't know, because I think it's supposed to be the last Lynch Mob album. He's kind of quits it again for Lynch Mob or whatever. Fuck, I don't know.
He's gonna call it something else.
Yeah,
next year.
that's what I got for them, and
That's the trendy thing to do nowadays.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the wrap up here. So what are you guys looking forward to this year, Dylan?
I'm looking forward to the Maiden concert. That'll be a lot of fun. Being able to see them on the floor will be a very cool experience.
If we weren't on the floor, I wasn't fucking going.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Judas Priest's new album. That's going to be great. The first 2 singles I really, really enjoy. And I'm going to be looking forward to Anthrax if they come out with an album this year. It's been a very long time since they've come out with studio stuff, and apparently they've been in the studio, so I'm hoping that this will be the year that they come out with studio stuff. But they've been doing some great stuff, like studio-wise, and we got to see them live last year, so I can't complain too much. They've still been somewhat active in terms of doing things. They just had their anniversary of anniversary for their band. That tour, so they're celebrating a big 40 years of Anthrax, so something's definitely coming down the pipe, I'm sure, and I'm very excited to see when that is. And I'm also excited to see what the digital avatars are going to be up to next year.
You may be the only one.
I'm morbidly curious of how that's gonna go, and
he's more interested than looking forward to.
It's really it's like I got tickets to see the Hindenburg, but I like Lucasfilm. I like Industrial Light and Magic. I'm sure that they'll work their magic, so to speak, with the Kiss avatars, but I'm excited to buy the NFTs. No, NFTs are a blight on humanity, but
I don't know what that is.
They're non-fungible tokens, and they're the trendy thing to do nowadays, and I'm surprised Kiss has not done it yet. I'm sure it'll happen, where it's like, oh, you can buy this exclusive, digital token of Kiss that it'll be unique to you. And it's stupid.
They're going to do challenge coins, too.
Yeah. I mean, challenge coins, at least you get a physical coin for it.
True.
But anyways, so there's a lot to be excited for 2024. And I'm sure there's stuff that hasn't even registered that'll be surprises. And that's something I'm looking forward to. And, of course, doing more episodes of the podcast with y'all.
BB.
It's funny you brought up the Kiss thing, because I was going to bring it up in disappointment. When fuck it. But this is what I want to bring up now that you actually got that ball rolling.
I opened the door.
Yeah. What I thought was hilarious, what Ace Frehley said about the avatars. It's like they're like catering the kids. What the fuck did we do when we were fucking in the 70s?
Kiss has always been catering to kids.
We were Halloweeners. We bought the Kiss dolls. We bought the
lunchbox.
Where the hell were you
catering the
this whole
kids?
time?
I'm like, what do you mean, Ace? They're catering the kids. I'm like, hello?
What do you think Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was? They were in Scooby-Doo, for Christ's sakes. They had comic books.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up, but I like...
What an idiot.
Yeah. Catering the kids. Hello?
Sometimes he has valid points, but...
Other times he gets...
Sometimes you just need to shut up.
Diarrhea about
it.
Exactly.
All right, so thank you for bringing it up. I was going to bring it up in the disappointments, but we got to fuck it. But what I'm looking forward to, is that where we're at now?
Yep.
Yeah.
We kind of touched base a little bit with the Mr. Big writing a new album. Dylan said something about the Priest. I'm excited to hear the new Priest album. But BC, what I wanted to say before, XYZ in the studio, writing, recording, ready to go.
Original.
Really? Nice.
Really?
I think I did.
So I'm very, very excited to see what XYZ is going to do, hopefully for next year.
BB's pen pals with Terry.
I'm like, hey, let's go.
Dear Terry.
That was an early scandal in John Adams' presidential career, the XYZ affair.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yep. The French spies, I believe, or something like that.
Yes.
BC, how about you?
I'm looking forward to drinking.
We're drinking.
We are now.
Another year of drinking. Oh, I'm kidding. But,
No, he's not.
no, I mean, of course, we got the Master Rock Cruise coming up. I'm looking forward to February because there's a ton of bands and releases going to come out in February. McMars, I'm drawing a blank, but February 20th
and everyone else.
February 23rd.
rest.
February 23rd is going to be a big release date. There's like at least 5 or 6, I think, for the February 23rd.
Lizzie Bourne's going to sneak one in there, BC.
Yeah, he better do something.
You can talk to him.
He's going to
You can
release
talk to
it
him on the ship.
He's going to release
go.
a single cassette.
I guarantee you he won't be playing in the theater.
He doesn't belong there. The
Studio B. Studio B.
Perfect. But no, I mean, there's a lot of releases, and we got the Iron Maiden show later in the year next year, and I guess, and what you said, Judas Priest, that'd be interesting. That should I think that's done. They said, right? It should be pretty much done. So I mean, hopefully it's just more musically than it was this past year. You know,
Yeah.
See what the future holds.
Absolutely. Yeah, for me, looking forward to Monsters of Rock Cruise. It's going to be interesting to see how we pull that off, BC. Iron Maiden show for sure. We have tickets for that already. Like I said, if we weren't going to be on the floor, I wasn't fucking going. New album from Priest, The Rods. New album coming out in January. The Gems, which are the 3 girls from Thunder Mother. And new Thunder Mother album as well. Going to some more baseball games with my wife. Hitting a couple new stadiums. Hopefully M3. We got to see how that's gonna fly. And with the disappointment of the Glenn Hughes album, he will absolutely redeem himself when the new Black Country Communion album comes out. And they better tour, because if they fucking play New York or Philly, we're franking it. We're going.
Frankie.
We're doing the Frank Company.
We're getting
We
that.
haven't got the Frank. And
I know.
Come on, Frank.
I talked to him about that.
Come on.
And,
We want Frank.
I'm absolutely looking forward to that. And there's a ton of cool albums. So like maybe next year, this year we will have that out. Maybe it'll be the new Priest album. That album that'll just everyone will be like, holy fuck. Maybe it'll be because this year we have the Rods and Priest out. You know, and they were the only 2 albums I think that we were all definitive on since we've been doing this podcast. All agreed on that was the album of the year of the podcast.
I think it's really funny that whenever we have a situation where like there's one person that's the holdout, it's either me or you. Those 2 are always in agreement.
Yeah,
And it's always you or me.
Yeah, it was me this year, and it just missed my top 10. So like, so it's probably if you did the Sunny voodoo math, Metallica would be the podcast album of the year.
It was actually both of you. Because you didn't have Phil and
I
you
didn't have Phil.
Metallica.
That's what I said. It was me and you.
Oh, okay.
So the 2 albums.
Oh, okay.
Those could have made the
I
list.
forgot about the Phil ones for sure. So.
Well, none of y'all had Foo Fighters, so that's why it did make.
well, because we knew you would pick up that one and run with it there.
Yeah.
So, So I mean, I hope that this year we get to see some more concerts. I'm looking forward to more of this here, more of doing the getting our guests, hopefully getting some new guests on there, and I'm looking forward to recording some more of the I Remember Now podcast with my other partner Ray Farrell for sure. So. We're pretty much wrapped up, so we'll go around the table. Thank anybody you want for the year. My list is lengthy, so we'll let you guys go first, and we'll wrap up, and we'll get out of here. We'll kick off the year with me needing another beer by the time we're done, and you guys needing shots by the time I'm done. BB.
All right. First and foremost, we have to thank everybody out there who listens to us. Everybody else who interacts, who shares. That's pretty much why we're here. Maybe it's just an excuse for us to drink, but you guys interacting, listening, sharing. It's why we do it. You guys out there. Thank you, each and every one of you. It seems like we're growing. Every month, it seems like we're getting more interactions, more growing. It's fantastic for we're like almost 340 episodes in. It's just fucking mind blowing. Next, I want to thank you guys. Thanks for letting me jump in on your hidden gem here. I was the one who said, "Who the fuck listens to podcasts?" And like I said, 300 and almost 50 episodes later, here we are. getting who knows how many listens and downloads. It's just amazing. Not only people in this area, just all over the world that listen to us. Thank my wife, of course, the craziness that I do and listening to the stuff we listen to in the house and running and here and there and writing down notes and and tomorrow's her birthday, so
Yep.
Thank you, Randy. Happy birthday to you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I would be a puddle without you. You are the nucleus of everything that us and me and the family do. And yeah, this was a great episode. Definitely, everybody brought a little bit of their own little self to the table. Then it was also a little mix, which is great. But I love when somebody else brings that oddball thing to the table. Dylan with the auto, and Steve with the tail gunner, and BC you brought like Ronnie Atkins tonight. That's a great album that nobody thought of. It's just how much we also not only cross over, but how much we kind of distance each other from what we actually listen to. And definitely a great year. Can't wait to see what 2024 holds.
Done.
Yeah, thanks to everybody around this table. I think without any one of us, the makeup of this podcast would be so different and probably for sure not as good. I think we all add something different and unique. Like BB said, there's so much that we offer in terms of different musical stylings, and though we cross over on some of things, there are other things that we manage to completely have separate corner ideas about. Want to absolutely thank the listeners for having us in your earbuds every week. Without you, we would just be talking to the void. I mean, that's probably an issue for later on that we'll have to deal with when we grow old. But, for now, we could actually talk to people that care as much about music as we do. Want to thank Christine for coming on the podcast this year. First off, that was fantastic, and so happy you were game for that, and for being supportive and open to me doing the podcast. And just like Randy's birthday is tomorrow, her birthday is the day after, on the 21st. So we have the birthday trio there.
Yeah, we have the birthday trifecta there.
So that's pretty funny. But and I want to thank my mom as well. She does so much for the podcast and for making sure that the schedules align. So really thankful for her flexibility and her willingness to let the podcast continue on. But here's to 2024. Very excited to see what it has in store.
All right. Yeah, and I
want to throw it to BC.
I am. I'm sorry, but I was going to apologize real quickly to Christine.
Yeah, you did not mention her
for being one of the guest hosts. I totally and she was awesome. She was I was a very, very good and I said it when after the week after that they did it and we listened to it that she's way too well spoken to be on our podcast. So go ahead, BC. I just wanted to say that because when Dylan said, I'm like, fuck, I didn't mention, but I apologize, and it was awesome episode. Go ahead, BC.
All right. Again, this is always fun. A group of us here, everybody out there, without your input and all our special guests. I mean, there's too many to mention for me, at least, because I barely remember my name. But
I got them written down.
You got it written down. Steve would take care of that for me. But you know who you guys are out there. And I mean, when this first started, and Steve came up to me, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay. I didn't have no clue about any of it. And we did it and went in, and I don't know how many months later we went to the Nashville for the first time. And that's what you're like.
We were only out like a month.
I walked in, I was like, holy fuck, this is this is bigger than I thought. So, I mean, it's been one hell of a ride. I mean, so, again, thank everybody out there and everybody who tunes in and gives us a topic or something to do. And everything's just so I'm looking forward to 2024.
All right. Yeah, great job, guys. Yeah, for me, first and foremost, thank my wife Corey. She puts up with me in general, which I have no idea how or why, but she's awesome. My boss Maura Rotman at the library that we record there occasionally when we have a large group of people on the podcast. Stephanie and Mike Spade, our mascot Sully.
Oh, that's right.
That comes on,
and
then runs by once in a while. Sonny Pooney and Steven from Growing Up Rock. Brad Rustoven from Slamfest. Tom and Zeus from Shout It Out Loud. And Dome Damage. And what else? There's Led Zeppelin Chronicles. Aaron Martell. Sweet Lou Figueroa. Mike Cordes. I'm sorry, the Prof. Ray Permy and Ray Zimmer from the R4 Ridiculous Rock Record Review Show. Stevie Flythe and Jason Warden from the On the Fly podcast. My partner on, I remember now, Ray Farrow. And Joe Polo, Lee Westy, Joey Casada, and Sonny from Podcast Rock City. Uncle Steve from Uncle Steve's Iron Maiden Zone. Cousins Tim, Gary, and Marvin from the Asylum podcast, along with Ray as well. Julian Gill, Lonnie, Mark Anthony K that comes on with us as well. Ken and Daniel from the Kiss FAQ podcast. Alan Dennis and Bill from the Ages of Rock podcast. Kristen Huddy from Digital Killed, and Huddy and Ian from State of Amorica podcast. Huddy. BC's Drinking Buddy on Mork. Kevin Williams from the In Obscuria podcast. Vinny and Cool Burn from Podcore Metal on Metal podcast. Brian Davis from Damn Good Movie Memories. Baco and LC from Cobras and Fire. LC we got to hang with on Monsters of Rock as well. Maybe we can get Baco on there one of these years. Matt Porter, Bobby Dreyer from the Kiss Room. Our buddy Mark Hoover from Rock 107, who's hooked us up dozens of times, which I have a really cool episode that I wanted to get Mark on last year, but he was unavailable, so I saved it for next year. I'll tell you guys about it later. Jen and John Vana always welcome us into their home to record at Lucky's. Dave Borowski, my Kiss crew, Rob Kelleher, Chris Boo Boo, Granza, Scott Sadowski, Rich Lean, Steve Kaharski, Mike Weisel, Tony Masalem, Jeff Trott, our BC's cuddling buddy on Monsters of Rock cruise, Bruce Hester, Ed Spangenberg, Jim Polkowski, our great friend from the Rods, Carl Kennedy, Bill Elam, Brian Harris, David Cathy, always throwing us out there, sharing us, and conversing with us throughout the whole podcast. Brian Heaton has the awesome touring history of Queensryche book coming out next year, which is gonna be it's Kiss Alive Forever of fucking Queensryche. So it's gonna be fucking awesome. Gary Capp, which I have something to give you guys from him as well. Gary has sent us multiple gifts throughout the years. I'm sorry I missed you in New York City, Gary. Hopefully someday we can hook up and have a chat. John Clark, Rob Karkukangas, our buddy Rob from Vancouver. Scott Gull, Heather Shakaris, Tony Barone, Cindy Russick, Jeff Gauss, Jim Blair, funny guy that calls into our into the Queensryche one, Mark Arnold and Brad Erdman. And thank you to all of our listeners. You guys out there are just fucking fantastic. And Ray and I had a little mini conversation on the Queensryche podcast last time we did it about time. There are so many things out there that take up time. You know, we all here take time to do this podcast, and there's so many podcasts out there, TV shows, movies, books and audiobooks, and the people actually take a chunk out of that time in their life to listen to us is absolutely fucking humbling and amazing, and we really appreciate it. And that really got me thinking this week. Like, I can't believe it. Like, we've been doing this for like almost 6 years, and the amount of people that have interacted with us, and when you look at the stats of the different countries that people listen to us, fucking just it's insane. And I wish I could thank every single one of you guys individually, but it's just amazing that everybody does that. But I want to thank you guys here. BC, my original podcasting partner, like you said, you had no idea about, and I didn't know about podcasting. Dylan's like, oh, podcast. So I'm like, what's that? So then I listened to it, and then I'm like, I gotta fucking do that, because I'm screaming at people you know, I think Sonny Pooney was one of the first ones I was fucking screaming at. I didn't even know him. So like, I want to do that. So
You're still screaming at him.
Dylan got me into it. I dragged BC along. He had no idea what it was. And we kind of just were like, let's just do it and see what happens. BB was like, what is this? And then he came, he said it, and he's like, all right. So then BB, we brought
like
BB
drinking
into
beer
the
on the
fold.
porch.
And literally just think of the lifelong friends that we've made just from the podcast alone. You know what I mean? And what it all comes down to is everyone that does a podcast just wants to do a podcast to talk about the shit that they like. You know, this is us on the porch.
Yeah,
this is the porch. It's where it all started for us. You know, we've been podcasting for years. We just haven't recorded it. And you know, and Dylan, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you do. You are the only one that doesn't get a week off, and I wish I could edit, but you know, I did that one. I edited one show. I edited. It was a 40-minute thing, and it took me fucking 6 hours to do it. So definitely not, you know, time. Good time to do that. But thank you guys. I love you guys. I hope everybody had an awesome holiday season. However you celebrate, I hope everybody continues out there to be healthy and be happy. And I can't wait. We've got a lot of cool shit coming up this year, and I have shows scheduled till I think the beginning of March, and I'm going to work this week on a little further in advance than that, so it gives everybody enough time to do what they need to do. So thank you out there, everybody, for listening, for putting up with this and putting up with me, and love you guys out there. Love you guys here. This is fucking awesome, and we got a ton of more cool shit coming up. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We will see you next time, and there absolutely, positively, definitely will be a next time.